What if nothing could touch you? Not betrayal, not rejection, not insults whispered behind your back, not the silent daggers of envy. What if you became untouchable? Most men today live like open wounds. A single word cuts them. A single rejection haunts them. A single betrayal destroys them. But there is another way, a way whispered by the ruthless mind of Niccolò Machiavelli, a way carved into the Stoic pages of Marcus Aurelius, a way to walk through the fire of human cruelty and never be burned. Because the truth is this: the world will always try to affect you. It will seduce you with flattery. It will break you with betrayal. It will provoke you with insults. It will enslave you with fear. But those who rise to power, those who command respect, learn a secret. They build armor not of steel, but of mind. This video is not motivation. This is not another speech about positive thinking. This is strategy. Cold, ruthless, effective. Because if you want to live in peace, you must prepare for war, not with others, but with yourself, with your reactions, with your dependencies, with your need to be liked. Be Stoic exists to give you this weapon, to guide you into the mindset where nothing and nobody will ever affect you again. Have you ever noticed how easily people are controlled? A single comment online ruins their entire day. One look of disapproval shatters their confidence. One relationship ending, and they collapse into a shell of who they once were. Why? Because most men are not free. They are slaves. Slaves to opinion. Slaves to validation. Slaves to their own fragile emotions. Machiavelli understood this weakness centuries ago. He wrote, "Men are driven more by the fear of loss than the hope of gain." Fear is the leash by which most are controlled. The Stoics saw the same chain, but from the inside. Marcus Aurelius asked, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." Both the ruthless prince and the wise emperor saw the same truth. If others can affect you, they own you, they control you, they dictate the rhythm of your soul. And so the question is, will you remain a puppet, strings pulled by every betrayal, rejection, and insult? Or will you learn the art of indifference? Imagine this. A woman rejects you. Most men spiral into self-doubt. But the Machiavellian Stoic man smiles within. He whispers, "It was her weakness to lose me," and he walks away untouchable. Imagine this. A friend betrays you. Most men rage, plot revenge, or drown in sorrow. But the untouchable man sees the betrayal as revelation. He gained truth, not loss. He closes the book without anger and moves on stronger. Imagine this. You are insulted in public. Most men flare up, desperate to defend their ego. But the untouchable man, he does nothing. His silence cuts deeper than any words could, because silence is power. Ask yourself honestly, how many times have you allowed someone else to control your peace? How many times did their opinion become your prison? How many times did betrayal live rent-free in your mind for months, even years? If you felt that sting, you are not alone, but you're also not free. Freedom begins when you decide, from this day, nobody will affect me again. Not by building walls of anger, not by numbing yourself with distractions, but by forging a new psychology, a blend of Machiavelli's ruthless realism and Stoicism's unshakable calm. This is the path we now walk together, through shadows and fire, through betrayal and silence, through strategy and serenity. By the end of this journey, you will understand the strongest man is not the one who conquers others. The strongest man is the one who cannot be conquered by himself. Part 2. The Machiavellian lens on power. Machiavelli was not a philosopher of comfort. He was a philosopher of power. While the Stoics sought to master the self, Machiavelli studied how men try to master each other. And yet, when you look closely, you realize that both roads lead to the same fortress, inner strength. Machiavelli teaches us one brutal truth. Men are driven by two things, fear and interest. If you allow yourself to be swayed by flattery, fear, or the desire to be liked, you've already surrendered your freedom. You've already allowed the world to chain you. But if you become indifferent to opinions, if you master the art of appearing calm while others panic, if you detach yourself from the need to be validated, you become someone dangerous, someone untouchable. This is the first rule. Care less about how others see you and more about how you see yourself. Think about this. Imagine someone insults you in front of others. Most people will react instantly, defending themselves, raising their voice, trying to repair their image. But you stand there calm, silent, unmoved. The room grows uncomfortable. People expect chaos, but instead, they find your silence more terrifying than an outburst. In that moment, you hold power. Why? Because you refuse to be provoked. Machiavelli's cold strategy. In The Prince, Machiavelli says that it's better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. And here's what most people miss. Fear is not about terror. It's about respecting your boundaries. When people realize you cannot be manipulated by guilt, shame, or emotions, they begin to approach you differently. They measure their words. They respect your presence. They learn that you cannot be moved like a pawn. This is emotional sovereignty. This is Stoic Machiavellianism. Ask yourself, how many times have you lost sleep replaying what someone said about you? How many times have you felt anxious because you feared losing someone's approval? How many times have you betrayed your own standards just to keep peace? Now imagine this. None of that affects you anymore. You walk away from manipulation without hesitation. You never explain yourself to those who don't deserve it. You never chase what disrespects you. This isn't fantasy. This is the reward for building emotional armor. The Stoic connection. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you'll find strength. This is where Stoicism and Machiavelli meet. Machiavelli teaches, control appearances, not emotions. Stoicism teaches, control emotions, not appearances. Combine them, and you become unshakable. You stop living for approval. You stop reacting to shadows. You stop being drained by the chaos of others. And here's the paradox. Once you stop caring, once you detach from weakness, people begin to chase you more. Because true independence is magnetic. What would happen if tomorrow you woke up and nothing anyone said or did could disturb your peace? Wouldn't that make you unstoppable? That's exactly what I'm going to show you in the next part of this video. Part 3. The Machiavellian art of emotional detachment. You see, the greatest trap isn't what others do to you. It's how you let them live inside your mind. The betrayal happens once in reality, but you replay it 100 times in your imagination. The insult was spoken in seconds, but you rehearse it for days, letting it poison your spirit. If you want to become untouchable, you must master this. The art of emotional detachment. Machiavelli didn't just speak about politics. He understood human weakness. Our obsession with being liked, being respected, being validated. Part 4. The Machiavellian strategy of silence. There's one weapon more powerful than anger, more dangerous than aggression, and more unsettling than revenge. It is silence. Machiavelli understood this deeply. He knew that in politics and power, words are often traps. The moment you defend yourself, you've already lost. You've admitted weakness. But silence leaves the other person guessing. It forces them to fill the gap with their own fears. And Stoicism aligns perfectly here. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about staying still, letting the storm rage around you while you remain unmoved. He compared life's chaos to waves hitting a rock. The rock doesn't fight back. It simply stands firm. When you respond with silence, you don't just withhold words. You withhold validation. You deny your enemies the reaction they crave. And in that absence, they begin to unravel. Think about it. When was the last time someone insulted you, and instead of firing back, you just smiled, nodded, or walked away? You robbed them of their power. You left them powerless, frustrated, and confused. What's more frightening than a man who doesn't fight back? A man who doesn't care. Indifference as power. Machiavelli taught that people can only control you if you value their approval, their opinion, or their judgment. If you remove that value, you become untouchable. This is where Stoicism becomes your greatest weapon. Epictetus wrote, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The insult doesn't harm you. Your attachment to the insult does. The betrayal doesn't destroy you. It's your obsession with loyalty that breaks your heart. The Machiavellian Stoic learns indifference, not coldness, not cruelty, but indifference. You strip away the illusion of control others think they have over you. And when people realize they can't shake you, they start respecting or fearing you. Either way, you win. The ruthless cut. Here's the truth. Most of the pain in your life comes not from enemies, but from people you allow too close. Machiavelli was clear about this. Cut weak ties before they weaken you. If someone constantly drains your energy, undermines your confidence, or manipulates your emotions, you must be ruthless enough to walk away. Seneca once wrote, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you. If someone isn't improving you, they're decaying you. There is no middle ground." Machiavelli would say, "Loyalty is rare, trust is fragile, and dependence is dangerous." The Stoic would say, "Peace is found in simplicity, not in chains." So combine the two, cut what corrupts and guard what strengthens. The shadow of fear. Fear is the ultimate weapon people use against you. Fear of loss, fear of rejection, fear of what others will think. But Machiavelli asked a dangerous question. Is it better to be loved or feared? His answer, both, but if you must choose, be feared. Now, we don't apply this literally in our personal lives. But here's the psychological gold. When you live free of fear, people begin to fear losing you. When you detach from needing validation, others desperately want to give it to you. When you're indifferent to rejection, rejection loses all meaning. The Machiavellian Stoic does not chase love or acceptance. He embodies strength, silence, and resilience, and people chase him. So ask yourself, are you still letting small minds disturb your peace? Or will you rise above, combining Machiavelli's ruthless strategy with Stoic stillness to become truly untouchable? Part 5. But here's the truth. It's not enough to control your emotions, cut out weakness, and build boundaries. Because there's one last enemy left, the most dangerous one. And that enemy is your own mind, the war within. Marcus Aurelius once wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you'll find strength." Machiavelli, though far more ruthless, echoed this in his own way. For him, the greatest battlefield was not Rome, not Florence, not the courts of princes. It was the private war every man wages inside his head. If your mind is conquered, then even the smallest insult can ruin your day. If your mind is mastered, then even the greatest betrayal cannot shake you. That's the level of emotional armor you're aiming for. Not to feel nothing, but to feel everything without being ruled by it. Machiavelli's final trick, indifference. Machiavelli taught rulers to appear unbothered. If enemies saw you sweat, they won. If rivals saw you panic, they knew how to strike. So he cultivated the art of indifference, not because he didn't care, but because showing care was dangerous. Now think about your own life. How many people get under your skin simply because they know they can? How many arguments happen not because of what was said, but because you show to hurt you? Indifference is not weakness. It is power disguised as stillness. It is silence that screams, "You cannot touch me." The Stoic application. The Stoics called this apathia, a state where destructive emotions lose their grip. Not numbness, not apathy, but clarity. It's when someone tries to insult you, and instead of firing back, you just smile. It's when life throws chaos at you, and you stand like an unmoved mountain. It's when betrayal cuts deep, and you simply say, "I will endure." This is a union of Stoicism and Machiavelli. Calm clarity on the inside, ruthless indifference on the outside. And here's where I want you to pause. Ask yourself, if tomorrow everyone you know betrayed you, if tomorrow the world turned its back on you, would you crumble, or would you rise, untouched, unbothered, unstoppable? Because that's what the strategy is about. Not survival, but untouchable power. This is Be Stoic, where philosophy becomes power, where history's sharpest minds, Marcus, Seneca, Epictetus, Machiavelli, teach you not how to survive, but how to dominate yourself. So if you stayed with me till here, You're already stronger than most. But we're not done, because in the next part, I'll show you how to use this power in everyday life, at work, in love, in betrayal, in ambition, so that nothing and nobody will affect you again. Part 6. The Stoic Machiavellian Mindset in Practice. Now that we've laid down the philosophy, let's get practical. It's one thing to say, be indifferent, be unshaken, be untouchable. It's another to actually live it. So, let's break it down into strategies you can use today to start building that armor. 1. The rule of silence. The most powerful weapon is sometimes nothing at all. Machiavelli said, "Never attempt to win by force what could be won by deception. And silence is the greatest deception of all. When someone insults you, they want a reaction. They want your energy. They want your anger. They want your insecurity to surface. But when you stay silent, you deny them the oxygen they need. You flip the power instantly." Marcus Aurelius echoed this when he wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Every time you refuse to react, you train your mind. You say to yourself, 'Their words cannot touch me.' This is not weakness. It's pure strength, because the one who controls his tongue controls the battlefield." 2. The art of detachment. Attachment is slavery. Machiavelli observed that rulers who became dependent on others, whether allies, mercenaries, or the people's approval, were doomed. Why? Because their power was never truly theirs. The same applies to you. When you depend on someone else's validation, affection, or praise, you're vulnerable. They own you. They can break you with silence. They can destroy you with rejection. The Stoics knew this well. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Detachment means this. You don't need them. You don't chase them. You don't beg for recognition. You stand complete on your own. This doesn't mean you become cold or unfeeling. It means your foundation is internal, not external. 3. The armor perspective. The enemy of emotional control is narrow vision. When you magnify one moment, one insult, one betrayal, it consumes you. But Stoicism zooms out. Marcus Aurelius would constantly remind himself, "You've seen that. You've seen all of it before. The same old things." And Machiavelli. 2. Advise rulers to think beyond the present, to plan, to anticipate, to see years ahead. So, when you're hurt, betrayed, or mocked, ask yourself, will this matter a year from now? Does this define my destiny? Or is it just a passing shadow? 9 times out of 10, the storm shrinks, and your peace returns. 4. The discipline of indifference. This is the hardest part, and it's where most men fail. Indifference is not pretending you don't care. It's genuinely not being touched. When someone leaves you on read, you don't chase. When someone talks behind your back, you don't correct them. When life throws chaos your way, you don't curse fate. You stay still, like a mountain unmoved by the wind. Seneca captured it perfectly. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Indifference kills the poison before it enters your soul. 5. Power through control. At the core of both Machiavelli and Stoicism lies one truth. Control what you can. Ignore what you can't. Machiavelli wrote in The Prince, "Fortune controls half of our actions, but we can control the other half." Epictetus mirrored this centuries earlier. Some things are up to us, and some are not. So ask yourself daily, is this within my power, or is this beyond my reach? If it's within your power, act with precision. If it's beyond your reach, let it go. This mindset alone makes you untouchable. So far, we've uncovered 5 practical weapons: silence, detachment, perspective, indifference, control. Together, these form a foundation of emotional armor. But don't leave yet, because in the next part, we'll uncover the dark side of indifference, how it can make you seem cold, dangerous, even ruthless, and why that might be exactly what you need to rise above the games people play. Stay with me,